I always encourage 40 Days for Life leaders to share persecution with other leaders, and everybody says the same thing. They're like, no, I don't want to discourage somebody from doing it by telling them that, this church wants nothing to do with us. Or I was thrown out of a pastor's office, which I was thrown out of 2 pastors' offices during the first 40 Days for Life campaign, and I was so naive. I was 20 years old. And 21, and I just thought, but he's a pastor, that's ridiculous. The whole world's going to hell in a handbasket, And yet when you share those stories and you kind of hear it as a 40 Days for Life leader, you're kind of like, oh, good, I'm glad that happened to somebody else. That happened to me. There's a unique bond there. And we're going to face that. And that's the world, and that doesn't need to lead to bitterness or resentment or this sort of self-righteous attitude like, I'm doing all this, and where is everybody else? Nobody else cares. Because that's endless. And when we look at all of the good that God is doing through your efforts, and we were to remove all of that, and we didn't have stats. Let's say we didn't know that there were 13,000 babies saved. Let's say we didn't have that beautiful picture of Ante with that mom who chose life at a 40 Days for Life in Croatia, and Pope Francis is blessing that baby. Let's say we didn't have those pictures, and we didn't have books, and we didn't have podcasts, and we didn't have former workers coming out and saying, you're having a huge impact. If we didn't have any of that, the least thing we would have, the lowest common denominator, would be that we would still be out there physically in solidarity with those babies as they lose their lives. And that is worth our time, that is worth our sacrifice, and that is worth our daily offering and prayer to God. That it is beautiful to share the stories and the statistics, because it's a proven effort. 40 Days for Life works. We have the data that shows that. But even if we have none of that, there is a loneliness inside of an abortion facility. They survive on loneliness and despair. And yet when we are there, we eliminate that reality. They may not believe it. They may not think it. Some of them may want us there. Some of them may not want us there. But the reality is that we are there, and we can be there praying as those children lose their lives. And I've had so many women who have had an abortion come up to me who are, 20 or 30 years older than I am, and they say, I don't know if I would have turned around, but looking back at my kids and my grandkids, I at least wish I could look back and thought that I had the chance. Thought that there was somebody out there that knew the evil that I was about to do, even though I was young and naive or dumb or whatever it is, that somebody was out there to protect me from that.